Hey there everyone, it's Cassie. Welcome back for another Trinity Stamps video. Today we're going to be playing with the Majestic Unicorn stamps, dies, and stencil. Yes, that's right, there is a stencil. This set is so stinking cute, and I love that the dies will cut out the words as well. Here's the stencil that goes along with it, and it just makes it so easy to use. We're also going to be using the mini Slimline Blossom die, so let's hop into using that. I have a couple different glitter cardstocks. As you can see, I went ahead and lined this one up and I ran this through my die cutting machine, and I'm just using my Trinity pickup stick to poke out all the little pieces and take a look at how pretty that looks, and then we're going to back that with another piece of glitter cardstock. I'm going to move on to my stamping. So I've got my darling little Majestic Unicorn. We're going to stamp her down onto some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock using some Blackout ink. Now you could easily color this little cutie in any one of your mediums that you might want to use, but I'm going to use the matching stencil. It just makes it so easy. So I'm going to tack this down to my tonic platform, and then I'm going to use my magnets to hold the stencil in place, and then I'm going to bring out some inks that I have, and we'll bring our blender buddies in. But it's super easy to line up right over the top. We're going to do her little body first. I have a light yellow that we're using. I'll just color the whole part using that yellow, and then I'm going to bring in an orange so that we can do some light blending on the lower portion of her. Well, actually kind of all around. I just want to frame her up with this orange. So I'm going to start at the bottom and work our way around. But look at how easily it makes just blending and getting that like seamless dimension to her. It's just darling. Now we'll move our magnets, and then we'll just flip our stencil around, and then we'll just line up her hair over the top of what has been stamped, and then I'll tack that down again with our magnets, and I'm going to bring in more of a turquoise blue color. This stencil's neat because it also has some stars that you can see up above, and then it also has two little sections for her horn if you decide you want to blend her horn as well. I'm trying to be a little mindful of a couple of those areas that might be easily moved by the blender brush, because they're smaller areas, but I didn't have any issues. And again, it was super easy to line up, and I'm kind of trying to get that darker color more at the bottom part of her hair. And then we'll move our stencil again. I decided to keep her horn white, and you'll see why here in a little bit. But check it out. So now I have to clean off my stencil. My stencil is completely clean, and I am going to bring back the stencil. Before I do that, I'm going to bring in my anti-static powder tool along with some holographic embossing powder. We are going to use that anti-static powder tool all over our unicorn, just to make sure that when we do bring in the powder, that it doesn't stick to anywhere we don't want it to. And I have a little mini ink blending tool along with a foam that I'm going to use for the juicy embossing ink. So now we'll tack our stencil back down on top, right over what we just did. And then we'll bring in that blending tool and just kind of pounce that ink on top of the hair. And this is going to be so cool. So we'll pull that away, and then I do want her horn to be that as well, so I'm going to do the same thing with her horn. And we'll peel this up and use a coffee filter to catch our holographic embossing powder. And basically that holographic is just going to make that hair sparkle and shine. And check it out, we didn't get embossing powder where I didn't want it, so that worked out really well. And now we'll heat set this until that is smooth and melted, but you can see it change, and it's just so cool. I figure, you know, she's a unicorn. She needs to be just completely covered in sparkle and surrounded by sparkle, which is why I chose glitter cardstock as well. Isn't she fun? Check her out. Oh, the shine. Makes my heart happy. All right, now I'm going to stamp out her sentiments. I've picked a cardstock that kind of matches that hair, and I'm going to ink up those sentiments and stamp those down. You could use the matching dies to cut the words out, but I'm just going to cut these out in panels because I figured that would work just fine on the front of our mini Slimline. Stamping out the next sentiment, and then, like I said, we'll trim those down with our guillotine trimmer, and then cut a little bit of an angled edge on each one of the sentiments. And then now I'm going to pull out the matching die for our unicorn, because obviously we have to have her cut out. And then I'll run that through my die cutting machine. And I have to say I love her the way that she is, but I am going to bring in some of the stars from this stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that right on her little bum. I want to stamp those in orange, and it just will make her pop even more. I just think it's cute. So now we'll get our card base ready, which is a mini slimline measuring 6 by 6 inches, scored at 3 inches. And then now we can start adhering our pieces to our card base. I'll take this piece. I know it's not big enough, but I hate to waste any kind of glitter cardstock. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this down, leaving a little bit of a white border on the top and bottom. Not worried about it because our silver piece will completely cover that. So that will go top to bottom there, and then no one will know that that wasn't quite big enough. I'm only going to go around the edge. I'm not worried about the inside pieces because we're going to tack down our unicorn and her sentiments using some foam tape, and that should hold everything in place if it wasn't already tacked down with glue. I'll start by taking off the release paper on our sentiments, well, at least the top sentiment. I'll put that one down, and then I will do the second sentiment and adhere that one down to the bottom. And then I'll peel off all the release paper on our darling little unicorn and stick her down to the front as well. And then you see that strip of that orange glitter cardstock. I'm going to adhere that to the inside of the card. I love to add something to the inside, so that's what we're going to do. We'll trim down that edge, and then we'll adhere down the second piece. And that's going to finish off our card for today. So I hope that you liked this. If you did, please hit that like button and definitely consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. And as always, big thanks for stopping by, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.